Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining us on this edition of NEWS2. I'm Sandra Gumansing. Topping our newscast, the battle for equal citizenship rights is getting a major boost after the announcement of a major player joining the TUA versus United States case. And Delegate to Congress Stacey Plaskett had a big hand in making that happen. NEWS2's April Knight has that story.
A former U.S. Solicitor General is joining the fight for equal citizenship rights for America's island territories. Former Solicitor General Ted Olson, who successfully argued the protection of same-sex marriages before the Supreme Court, has teamed up with We the People founder Neil Weir in campaigning for equal rights for residents of the 5 U.S. territories.
Congress should not have the right to turn on and off people's citizenship.
Delegate to Congress Stacey Plaskett was instrumental in that team-up, according to her office. She served with Olson while working as senior counsel to the Deputy Attorney General at the U.S. Department of Justice.
I sent him an email with the brief, and he gave me a call and told me that, yeah, he was very interested in this, that it intrigued him. And so I set up a meeting with myself, Neil Weir, and Mr. Olson so that we could delve into it a bit more.
According to Plaskett, her office has worked closely with the We the People project for some time in challenging the century-old insular cases that stated that residents of the U.S. territories were alien races that could not understand Anglo-Saxon laws. She said Olson could be the territory's best chance in raising national awareness and successfully reversing the outdated doctrine.
Ted Olson is someone who the Supreme Court, if his name appears on a case, that they know that it has some merit, that he's not going to take anything frivolous, that he's very thoughtful, and they're at least going to read the brief.
Plaskett said with presidential campaigns in full swing, this is a good time to draw attention to the issue of equal citizenship rights, including the right to vote for president. Reporting for News 2, I'm April Knight.
Now, to learn more about the We the People project and their fight to citizenship rights, you can go to www.equalrightsnow.org. On December 14, 2015, the Virgin Islands Public Finance Authority, the PFA, closed its Series 2015 Federal Highway Grant Anticipation Bond Financing, commonly referred to as Garvey bonds. The financing provided $91 million of proceeds for critical highway infrastructure projects, including $40 million allocated to Veterans Drive Highway on St. Thomas and $51 million directed to fund key initiatives on St. Croix, one of which is the Melvin Evans Highway. And Standard & Poor's Rating Services assigned an A rating with a stable outlook for the bonds. This is the highest rating of any bonding program currently offered by the PFA and is among the stronger rated credits in the Caribbean. Lieutenant Governor and Chairman of the Virgin Islands Banking Board, Osbert Potter, strongly urges all Scotiabank balloon mortgage customers who have not completed the loan modification process to contact the bank immediately if their balloon mortgage has matured or is about to mature. A balloon mortgage is a mortgage that matures every 5 years and is subject to modification or can be changed to another mortgage product, such as a fixed rate mortgage. There are some customers, they say, who have contacted the bank's New Jersey-based mortgage servicer and need help with the completion of the loan modification agreement. Please contact the Division of Banking and Insurance or Scotiabank so the staff can assist you. This is a big week for the 31st legislature as they're holding a few days of Senate session. And among the bills on the table is the operating agreement between Arclight Capital Partners, the successful Venza bidder, and the VI government. NEWS2's April Knight has more.
The Venza Arclight deal is finally going before the Senate on Wednesday. Lawmakers have been making their sentiments known for some time leading up to the big discussion. Senator Jeanette Millen-Young has cautioned against rushing into a decision. Senator Tregenza Roach has expressed concern about documents being unavailable to some lawmakers like himself. The Venza sales process in bankruptcy court has been wrought with allegations of collusion from the opposing bidder and from the creditors committee, Accusations later dismissed by the presiding federal judge. Governor Mapp has gone on record defending the government's selection of Arclight, saying the company presented a better deal for the territory in terms of employment and the environment. In addition to the more than $800 million that the VI government expects to gain from the sale, some 80 jobs are also insured by Arclight, a large majority of which will go to locals. The deal with Arclight would also mean a $6 million asphalt plant and the reopening of the fuel truck rack on St. Croix, which would provide regular diesel, premium, and jet fuel at low cost to the territory's retailers. According to the governor, Arclight is also exploring the possibility of a liquid natural gas plant at the St. Croix site. All of these factors will be taken into account by the legislature at the upcoming Senate session. Buckeye Partners remains the backup bidder in case the Arclight deal fails to pass muster. Reporting for News 2, I'm April Light.
And again, those Senate sessions will be held Wednesday and Thursday on St. Thomas by law. No hearings have been scheduled on St. Croix. The VI Waste Management Authority is advising the public and residents of the Hidden Valley area that work on an area of aged sewer line between 394-281 and 394-286 Hidden Valley will begin on Tuesday, so it began earlier today. The original sewer system built over 40 years ago is in need of repair and upgrade to service the growing neighborhood. The project consists of the replacement of 230 feet of sewer line, raising 2 manholes, and restoring asphalt pavement along the repair trench. The contract has been awarded to Great All Heavy Equipment in the amount of $65,587. Traffic will be restricted as a result of that construction. The Committee of the Whole, chaired by Senator Kenneth Gittens, met Monday at the Earl B. Otley Legislative Hall, where they approved a measure criminalizing the possession of unlicensed assault rifles. Bill number 31-0027, sponsored by Senator Samuel Sanes, seeks to define the term assault rifle, specifically criminalizing the unlicensed possession of an assault rifle and eliminating the possibility for probation or parole for the unauthorized possession or use of an unlicensed weapon. It was approved with a vote of 5 yes, with 2 absent. Meanwhile, let's take a look at some crime reports. At roughly 3:28 p.m. on Monday, December 14th, officers were dispatched to the Wanif Louis Hospital and Medical Center in response to 2 gunshot victims seeking treatment. Responding officers met with the victims, who stated that they were near the bushy area east of the ballpark. As one of the 2 tended his horse and the other stood at a nearby tree, a vehicle drove up to victim number 1, who had been tending to his horse. An argument ensued and an unidentified male exited the rear of the vehicle, brandishing a gun, demanding the gold chain worn by victim number 1. Victim number 1 stated that he pushed the gun away with his left hand and was shot, while victim number 2, running to the aid of his friend, was shot in the right forearm. No call for assistance was made to the 911 emergency call center, and the 2 drove themselves to the hospital for treatment. A St. Croix couple was transported to the Wanif Louis Hospital in the early morning hours of Tuesday, December 15th, after a shooting and car chase, leaving one of the victims in stable condition and the other in critical. The couple, a 30-year-old male and a 24-year-old female, was sitting in a car parked in Williams Delight, according to police reports, at 12:27 a.m. when gunfire suddenly rang out from a vehicle behind them. The female passenger was struck by a bullet, and her male companion drove off onto the highway headed to the police station. The suspects followed the couple, shooting at their vehicle and ramming it from behind repeatedly until the car became disabled. The 2 fled the vehicle on foot, and the suspects then chased the male victim, shooting him multiple times. The female victim ran out onto the roadway and was able to flag down a passing motorist for help. Saturday, December 12, 2015, at 9:50 p.m., officers made contact with the victim of an assault that occurred in the vicinity of the Price Master convenience store located in Lindbergh Bay here in St. Thomas. According to the report, the victim had been involved in a discussion with several male individuals outside of Price Master. The victim stated that the discussion escalated when 3 men in the area assaulted him, causing lacerations to the face and head. The victim was transported to the Roy Leschen-Schneider Regional Medical Center and was treated for injuries sustained and later released. An arrest warrant was executed on Tuesday, December 15th at 10:50 a.m. for Jibri Roberts, 23, of Bon Esperance, who was formally charged with the October 24th, 2015 murder of Raj Kumari Hendrickson at the Hala Hala nightclub. At roughly 4:15 a.m. on Saturday, October 24th, officers discovered an unresponsive female who had sustained numerous gunshot injuries about the body. According to the preliminary investigation, the victim had been speaking with two male individuals when an unknown individual operating a Jeep drove up to the trio and began firing shots in the direction. Jibri Roberts was charged with first-degree murder and second-degree murder, among other charges. Turn our attention overseas. A threat against the safety of students and staff forced the closure of the entire Los Angeles Unified School District today. This after administrators say the district received an electronic threat they're calling credible. The school district's police chief says the threat is still being analyzed, but it was serious enough to keep more than 600,000 kindergarten through 12th grade students at home. The closure also affects some 250,000 adult education programs. All LAUSD personnel had been instructed to stay away from the schools. The district's superintendent is calling on area employers to be flexible with parents being forced to find emergency childcare. The FBI is investigating that threat. Keeping our eye on the economy, let's take a look at the New York Stock Exchange with our stock market watch. According to the numbers there, the Dow, Nasdaq, S&P all up. The Dow up 157, Nasdaq 43, S&P 500 also up at 21. Coming up on News 2, events to add to your Christmas social calendar, plus highlights from some Christmas events held recently. We'll be right back. Welcome back. On Tuesday, December 15th at roughly 12 p.m., several students of Charlotte Amalie High School were involved in an altercation. The VIPD says one male student involved in the skirmish skipped and fell to the second floor of the building but was not injured, while another student was transported to the Roy Leshner Schneider Hospital after suffering an anxiety attack. Principal afterwards announced that the Charlotte Amalie High School's campus was on lockdown until about 3:15. Police officers returned to the school during that dismissal. No arrests have been made, they say, as the school's principal has begun an administrative investigation into this incident. The Virgin Islands Department of Education's Office of the Insular Superintendent, St. Thomas St. John District, notifying parents of the early dismissal of all public schools on Thursday, December 17th. Dismissals will take place 3 hours before normal release times and are necessary to accommodate monthly job-embedded professional development for teachers. Lunch will be served before students are released, and buses will be dispatched to the schools to transport students to the normal drop-off locations. Here are the times. Adelita Cancrine at 12 p.m., CAHS at 12:10 p.m., BCB at 11:25, Eudora Kent 11:50, Sproul at 12, EWAA 12:10, Abraham at 11:40, Muller School 11:40, Dover Elementary School 11:45, Jenny Twitt 11:35, Joseph Sibley 11:30, Lockhart Elementary at 11:45 a.m., EBO 11:45, Gomez School at 11:40, Yvonne Bowski at 11:40 a.m. School will resume at normal times on Friday, December 18th. Some 900 high school students on St. Thomas are going to be part of a national talk show created and hosted by one of our own. Peter Bailey has interviewed stars like Wyclef Jean, Big Sean, and 50 Cent. Now, he's bringing home the huge talk show hit Nightcap to the territory, and he's making sure that the youth from his hometown are getting a strong message.
Half of the students are going to be from Ivani Durkin, my alma mater, and the other half from Charlotte Amalie. And I'm bringing in Brisha Webb. She's an actress. She's a star of NBC's new show, Truth Be Told, Grey's Anatomy, and ER. I've always believed that life, the reality that you believe is greater than the reality that you're presented. So basically, that's just the message that we're going to be discussing. And the kids are going to actually get to ask her questions and me questions about achieving and maintaining success. So it's just tremendous, you know, 'cause this is home. And I've always wanted to create an inspirational space for kids here. So I'm really happy that the Department of Tourism and the Department of Education has partnered with me on this to bring it into our community.
Welcome home, Peter, and remember that event takes place on Friday. Computer Science Education Week is December 7th to the 13th. It was observed at Arthur A. Richards Junior High School with teachers committing to using more technology in the classrooms. There was an hour of code activity on Friday, December 11th. Participating students selected a template from a variety of self-guided tutorials to create games and apps all in 1 hour. 8th grader Obasi Flores received prizes for being the first student to complete the Hour of Code computer app. Meanwhile, VINGN has also participated in the Worldwide Computer Science Education Week. This year's effort was in cooperation with Genius Lab and saw activities Friday at the St. Croix Department of Labor and Turnbull Regional Library Computer Centers. St. Patrick Catholic School student Justin Ruan has found a way to have one last great memory with his friends and classmates. Before leaving St. Patrick Catholic School this Thursday, December 17th, Justin will be taking his entire 8th grade class on a flight to St. Thomas to have a day of activities and fun. Justin Ruan is completing his pilot's license on St. Croix while in the 8th grade at the St. Patrick Catholic School. As his parting gift to his classmates, Justin will be piloting that plane. That includes the 8th grade class for St. Patrick School, his teacher, principal, and father. In the summer of 2012, NYU Lutheran donated dental equipment to the Frederiksted Health Center to provide dental services to the underserved population of St. Croix and to establish an NYU Lutheran Advanced General Dentistry Residency training site at the center. 3 years later, Family Health Center expanded its dental services to open a dental office in Christiansted with the equipment donated by NYU Lutheran. On May 1st, 2015, FHC underwent a special focused site visit by the Commission on Dental Accreditation, CODA. The CODA site visit went very well, and this week, FHC received notification that FHC is CODA approved as a clinical training site for the NYU Lutheran Aged Program. Well, just a quick note before we go into all the Christmas events. St. Thomas Senate President Neville James regretfully announces the indefinite postponing of the legislature's annual holiday festivities that was scheduled for Thursday, December 17th on St. Thomas and Friday, December 18th on St. Croix. James made that decision in consideration, he says, of the impending legislative session scheduled for Tuesday and Wednesday, and the special session called for by Governor Kenneth Mapp scheduled for Thursday. The Senate President is also aware that the entire legislature family is grieving the loss of senior manager Miss Julie Edney, who passed away suddenly on Sunday. Edney, a longtime employee in the St. Croix district, was considered a pillar of the institution and a favorite colleague to many in both districts. As a result, it was determined that to conduct a celebration at this time would be inappropriate. Well, over the weekend, the Rising Stars, the Superior Court Rising Stars Youth Steel Orchestra, the Virgin Islands' very own gem, performed their lively rhythms with a Christmas twist. The hugely popular youth orchestra performed favorite Christmas classics in front of a packed crowd at the Reichel Center for the Arts, along with some guest performers. In case you missed it, here are some of the strains of that sweet Christmas music. Great job there by the youngsters. Well, on Sunday, there was a Christmas Festival of Lights competition with a very merry guava berry holiday presented by the Frenchtown Civic Organization in Frenchtown. The program included Christmas selections, blessing of the lighting of the trees, and more. Music was by St. Anne's Choir, Voices of Love, and Tu Are We. The honoree was Mr. Pierre Ledy. There was a segment in which the trees were judged by a panel Then Santa arrived and distributed toys to the children, all from the Committee for the Betterment of Carenage. Well, they wanted to spread some Christmas cheer. The Virgin Islands Next Generation Community Development Team is distributing holiday care packages this week to the Bethlehem House Shelter for the Homeless on St. Thomas and My Brother's Table on St. Croix. The packets contain toiletry items, a water bottle, and a list of 33 free public computer centers located around the community. Both organizations provide urgently needed services, and VINGN wanted to give to the community in a very meaningful way, and that came from the VIN Community Development Coordinator Yvonne Fenton. Be sure to stick around. Your News 2 AccuWeather forecast is coming up next.